put in a thumbnail because for whatever reason the software won't let me put pictures up here, so I gotta alert them on the store. So I've been sitting on this video for a while. So Eagles, I guess, publication or fan basically was saying that the Eagles got the better corner. And Quinyon Mitchell, which that's who I wanted for the Lions, and he was a better player, and that Terrion Arnold was slow, and receiver separated and blew past him. He really a safety trying to play corner. So our good friend at NBC, Chris Collinsworth, rebutted that, and he says that Quinyon Mitchell, the Eagles got a better athlete than Quinyon Mitchell, but as far as a football player, I mean, it's just a preference at that point. The Terrion is just as good as Quinyon Mitchell, and maybe possibly better. I don't know, depends who you talk to, at playing corner, and they looking at it as we got the better athlete, and that's what I was looking at. I mean, but sometimes people get in trouble. Darrelle Revis was a solid athlete. Champ Bailey was a great athlete. Deion was another superior athlete, Darrell Green, but then on the other side of things, you had solid athletes, good athletes, like Charles Woodson was a really good athlete, but he was one of the greatest DBs of all time, corner, safety, nickel. Mike McKenzie and Al Harris, they wasn't the fastest guys, but we know in Green Bay, they can play. So really, Richard Sherman and Brandon Browner, I know he ain't gotten into some trouble, that's been his life, but they were big physical corners, but they wasn't the fastest. You know what I'm saying? They wasn't the fastest, but they had technique. I mean, for years, Antoine Winfield and Rondé Barber played well into their later careers with knowledge. The schemes fit them, but knowledge-wise, they played well into their careers. So, really, when you got technique, you would be all right. And I think, Terrion Arnold, by some people, was seen as the best corner in the draft. Now, I didn't do a lot of evaluations on it, but in my opinion, I favored Quinyon Mitchell. Toledo kid, not far, great athlete. And the level of competition was obviously in the favor of Terrion Arnold. Okay? Alabama had some bust at corner. I mean, D. Milliner. I think that's the only one I can really think of. But, everybody is not going to be a great corner. And a lot of factors that go into that type of situation. Well, Milliner was injured, and you get the money, and they pulling you this way, that way. Remember Trenton Richardson, the running back. His family is pulling him 10,000 different ways, and he was dealing with an old girl from Crime Mob. If you don't know, Nuck if you buck, that group. And a lot of things that I tell you this. That's why it's tough being a teacher. I say that I went to school to be a teacher for a minute. And what's so tough about that part of it is because, people look at kids as kids, but you don't know, they can't compartmentalize home and school, social and school. So you don't know what's going on at home, and they bring that into the classroom. A lot of y'all haven't been able to separate work and school. I mean, work, school, or socially what's going on at home. If you have a bad day at the crib, usually bring that into work. You have a bad day at work, you gotta usually bring that to the crib. And that's why a lot of people's situations tend to suffer. This is why relationships with children and husbands and wives and boyfriends and girlfriends tend to suffer. And what I had to learn to do is when I left work, I left work at work. Whatever was going on at the crib, I had to leave that at the crib. And once you figure that balance out, especially y'all ladies, y'all figure that out, you won't have too much trouble. You won't have too much trouble with guys are simple. But once you start bringing your problems, especially from work, and always dumping them on your husband or boyfriend plate, once you figure out how to deal with them issues, you'll be better. But I continue to say about it, so you don't never know what's going on. Everybody just look at on the field. A lot of things go on outside of the field or outside of the situation. So they go outside of the situation. So but nonetheless, like I said, and to me, it shouldn't really boil. The only time I'm gonna tell. Just because you faster, athletic, don't mean you're going to have a better career. A lot of things factor into the career. Your supporting cast, the DBs, the coaches, the front seven, the linebackers, the defensive coordinator, the offense could put you in a bad situation. Not having a quarterback can affect the whole team. So, quite frankly, is it a thing now that Philly think they, oh man, we got the. I mean, y'all jumped in front of us and got them. So I mean, shit, it's really gonna boil down to y'all had to pick. If Terrion end up being better, which I don't know. If he end up being the guy, and sometimes injuries can play a factor into that. If he can come in and he end up being the guy as the guy, and y'all took Quinyon Mitchell, that's all I was gonna remember. If we took Quinyon, and hold on real quick. If we took Quinyon and we took Terrion, y'all took Quinyon, and then somebody else ended up being better at corner. You know what I'm saying? Like, we both blew it. So, like I said before, Philly, they got a lot of, wild or crazy fans, but we really ain't tripping about that, bro. We really ain't tripping about that, man. I mean, to each his own. Only time is going to tell. One season ain't going to make Terrion or Quinyon any, better. Don't mean they going to be better. I mean, you're 3, 4, 10. If they lucky enough to play that long, that's really what's going to determine who going to be better. But, saying, oh, this guy separates too much. And the level of competition is totally different. So, but, going out there saying this, and Chris Collinsworth, like, boy, no difference for real. They both, great, good corners. Some people said Terrion was the best corner in the draft. Some people said Quinyon was the best corner. I expected Quinyon and Terrion to go inside the top 15 and one to go inside the top 10. So, I don't think we play Philly this year. So, possibly in the playoffs, and once again, they got a super team. Once again, they fit, Saquon Barkley in there, and that's deadly. They definitely a problem. A.J. Brown, they pay him. Not Mitchell. What's the kid from Alabama? The receiver. Yeah, he real nice. I like him. He nice. Seems like a good kid. See some interviews. Defensively, they straight. A little bit older up front, but they straight. So yeah, Philly a good team. I like Hurts. He cool. So we'll see kind of, where it boiled down to it at, man. But hey, man, let me know what you girls and guys think. Check out Detroit Lions Talk playlist. Hit the link tree. Find me on X, Instagram, Spotify, Anchor, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, Apple Podcasts. Check out the Spotify, the link tree. Take you to all that. Peace.